So, welcome to the first episode of Voided Vanguard. I talk about all the decks that did not get enough support or at least enough support that I believe Bushiroad should have given them. And so, for starters, we will begin with Metalborgs. So, Metalborg is of the Dimension Police clan. They offered Legion one of their main points was that they had more guard restricts or more effects that were on hit. So, for example, we had Metalborg Sinbuster if it was in Legion with Urbuster and it had 30,000 or greater, the opponent could not guard with anything grade 1 or higher. So, in the original game, it was a very powerful deck with no Sentinel usage and with the constant ability to restand as a possibility using Commander Laurel. It was actually a very top tier deck, but ever since then, it's only received about 9 cards in support. 5 were from the Cosmic Roar Dimension Police Extra Booster, and then another 5 to 6 were from We Are Trinity Dragon, the character booster. And none of these cards were actively that big for anything. None of the cards were anything more than rares or higher. We had some cards that actively supported Legion. We had some cards that actively benefited off of Legion. We had some cards that gave power to make the effects easier to get off. And with the release of V, we lost any and all terms of Legion. But again, I don't consider that support because it was just rehashing of Sin, and Black Boy. Metalborgs also had one of the bigger advantages in that you could actively be legioning a lot earlier thanks to the original effect of Metalborg Black Boy. So Counterblast 2, send 4 of your rear guards with Metalborg in their name into Soul, choose a grade 3 from your deck, ride it, and then choose a grade 3 in your Soul that can Legion with the card that you chose and perform Legion. One of the things that Metalborg desperately missed out on was a Metalborg specific PG, as the only Sentinel that we ever got for Metalborgs was the generic Quintet Wall. And so far that I know, Quintet Walls are pretty much, well, not pretty much worthless. I know some decks that might work with it, but again, it would have been much more valuable to have a PG, especially a third option during the era of extremely expensive PGs. That is anything before G. So sets 1 through 17. So possible ideas for cards to add in as a PG. Aside from the triggers as I mentioned in the first video of this series, I will not mention as much as I can 10k triggers because I believe all these decks should have gotten some kind of level of 10k triggers. But I had the idea for the PG, so it's on place, discard 1 card. You prevent 1 attack, or say that 1 attack is cannot hit. And then when your Vanguard with 2 or more cards on the Vanguard circle, the attack hits a Vanguard, you can Soul Blast 1 to return this card to deck, and then if you have 3 cards you're in Legion and Stride, you can draw 1 card. The main point of this is to add a level of return ability to survive more, as well as to not be focused solely on the Legion ability of returning cards to the deck. And then the draw 1 is just a little bit of a bonus on that. And then the other idea is a G-Guard. On place, you Counterblast 1. It gains 10k shield per card on your Vanguard circle. So on base, it is a 25k shield. On Legion, it is 35. As we have seen a lot of more recent cards with slightly more convoluted or harder to reach effects have the option other than that. I also did specifically think of the grade 3 that has a stride skill as well as a GB2 skill. So when you stride for Metalborg using this card, you can count the cards in your heart as 2 instead of 1. So for the current 2 strides, Heavy Metalborg, Heavy Duke, which on the effect is Counterblast 2 on attack, you can When it hits, you draw up to one card per heart on your Vanguard circle, as well as if you have a heart with Metalborg in it, you can prevent your opponent from guarding with grade 1s or higher. And then also the bigger one is the Guilt Digger from the second set, where you flip over a Metalborg. You have one of your one effect based on how many hearts you have. If you have two, it's a plus, I believe it's plus 20k and one crit. Or if you have one, you add it the grade 2 specific to the grade 3 in your as your heart, and Legion with it. Now this would be it would allow more options. It would allow more playability through legioning without it would be more like a Legion without Legion deck, as well as the option of adding more value to both of the strides, being able to draw 2 cards instead of 1 on hit, or being able to choose which effect you wanted for Guilt Digger. And then the GB2 skill, it would be you Counterblast 1, you choose a grade 3 from Soul, ride it as stand, and then perform Legion. Again, this skill is a little bit more of a way to speed up your legioning process, as Legion in general is definitely very slow. I know that even with using Black Boy, it is a very hard skill to pull off. Then we have the other option of, as the Stride fodder, if your Vanguard is Metalborg, and you're paying cost for Stride, you can count it as a grade 3 instead. So like the original grade 1 checkers as well, or the grade 1 Stride fodders, but with an added bonus like a lot of the specific name ones. If you're striding for a Metalborg Stride and you discard this card from your hand for that cost, you add 1 count to your heart for that turn. So if you're not in Legion, you count as 2 hearts. If you're in Legion, you count as 3 hearts. And this would again be better for Heavy Duke, because this would mean that you'd be able to draw at least 2 cards, possibly 3, off of its 2 counterblast cost. Then a thought for the Stride would be on attack, you counterblast 1, soul blast 1, ditch a card from hand, and then flip a unit, face down unit from your G zone that has the same name as this unit. It pluses 5,000 power for each heart until end of turn. So this will work along with both the the grade 3 Stride bonus, as well as the Stride fodder. So you'd have at minimum a 5k boost, at maximum a 15k boost. And then as a GB4 skill, at the end of the battle, you would send 1 card in your heart to your drop. So at the very least, you'd have to be in Legion. You restand this card, then and -1 drive. Then if your attack power is above a certain threshold, I'm going to go ahead and suggest 48k, then you plus 1 crit for that attack. Then again, a further one is that if your power level is 58k or greater, then the opponent cannot guard with G guards for that battle. So once again, we're going along with the guard restrict. We're going along with a optional stand choice. We're also going along with something that can add criticals. We're also going so the basic idea is that you're aiming for something that has a guard restrict as well as a bonus. Now again, this may actually be a little bit more of a expensive skill, but once again, I put it at GB4 because at that point it's a little bit too open for what it offers. I really don't know what to put for any G2s or grade 1s or 2s, aside from maybe some options that allow you to add heart power to your Vanguard, because once again, this deck does heavily focus currently on Legion abilities. So that's basically what I can think of for Metalborg. So let me know in the comments what you think about my thought process, and I will talk to you soon.